Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of June 27, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week. Without a doubt, there are huge things happening in the sky now. I'm going to start with what I think might just be the most important celestial occurrence this week, even though we have a couple of big ones. And that is Mars setting up a T-square with Saturn and Uranus. Saturn and Uranus, of course, are dancing in a square formation throughout this year and has three peak moments. Now, we had very recently, earlier this month, the second of these three peak moments that takes place over the course of 2021. The first one was in mid-February. The last one will be towards the end of the year. And even though this configuration is defining much of 2021 for a lot of us out there, it is defining a spirit of change and progress, a spirit of personal revolution and collective as well. It might not have been so obvious just yet, but just you wait, because this week it starts to become a lot more personal and a lot more meaningful, thanks to Mars. Mars in the sign of Leo is setting up a T-square. Now, a T-square is a larger configuration, and it represents tension, yes, but just like the square can also speak to motivation, this is profound motivation to change things for ourselves, to make this energy that is so big and so collective into something much more personal. I was reflecting on the energy of Mars in Leo quite deeply over the course of this week for a few reasons. The energy of Leo is one of loyalty. It is one of consistency. It is one of considering where it is that our heart is and giving ourselves fully to that path. Now, that stands in contrast to Mars standing across the sky from Saturn. Saturn in and of itself is an energy that is very stable. Saturn right now in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is also a fixed sign. And fixed signs, just like it sounds, they like to hold steady. And yet Aquarius is also an energy of change, of progress, of leaping into the future at moments that may seem erratic, but actually have their wisdom to it. Well, Saturn is a stabilizing energy. It is inviting us to look at things more rationally, to consider our lives from a place of healthy detachment, because it is from healthy detachment that then we're able to make our decisions much more consciously rather than instinctively. Our instincts are put into place through our very early experiences. Sometimes those experiences take place before we could even speak. And that's part of Mars. Mars is the survival instinct for this very reason. Mars connects us to the emotional states that we got used to dwelling in before we could speak, when we were very young. And it is from that place and from our understanding of our place within these emotional states and dwelling in these emotional states that we came to understand how we were going to survive. How we responded to these emotional states fortified our survival instinct. And that's part of what Mars represents. But the energy of Saturn is one of stability. The energy of Aquarius is one of mind, of thought, but it is also of consciously choosing our thoughts as well. And so these two energies are standing at contrast now. And you add to this Uranus. Uranus is a very erratic principle. Uranus is about the future. Again, it's about leaping into the future. It's about change. It's the modern ruling planet of Aquarius. Saturn is the ancient ruling planet of Aquarius. And so we as a collective are figuring these energies out. What does progress mean? What does change mean for us as a collective, but also as part of our own individual journeys? Well, this week it becomes that much more personal. It becomes that much more about our individual journeys and that much more connected to heart. And this energy invites us to examine where our loyalties lie. And where is it that our loyalties are hindering us from making healthy progress? And where is it that our loyalties ultimately become a part of a resistance that we may have to healthy progress, to progress that could propel us into a future that ultimately honors our authentic truth and our authentic path? This week I had an experience that helped me to integrate these energies very powerfully so. Now, if you've watched me for a while, you know I never like to talk about myself. I really do not talk about me very much, but I'm learning to share more, especially 2021 with Saturn Uranus square. I've really been learning to share a little bit more. I'm going to share as much as feels right for me. I'll edit out whatever it is that doesn't. That's part of the beauty of what it is that I do here. But I wanted to share an experience that I had that I found incredibly powerful. Now, I attended, or I had the opportunity to participate in a therapy, a type of therapy called family constellations. Now, I loved the woman who conducted this therapy. I asked her if I could use her name in this video, but she didn't respond. So out of respect, I'm going to just hold off on that. I don't know if she's open to referrals or not just yet. So I will say that this work is based on the work of Bert Hellinger, who is the one who spoke about family constellations. And essentially, what family constellations is based on is this idea that even when we know that certain patterns that have taken place in our families, in our immediate families, within our parents, and within our ancestors as well, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, there are certain patterns that become repeated again and again. And we, even when we consciously know that these patterns are not good for us, they're not what we want, they're not healthy, we will still participate in them. We will still recreate them in one way or another. And we do this because on some level of our unconscious mind, we believe that this is how we are loyal to our families. And this is how we belong to our families. Now, Bert Hellinger also wrote extensively about, well, what if you don't know who your families are, your biological families? So I'll put that aside for a moment. If you're interested in learning more about family constellations, you can do that. But I found this understanding very powerful. I found the therapeutic journey incredibly powerful. It was about 2.5 hours. I was in tears at the end of it. And it involved looking at past patterns, like actually documenting, writing out past patterns in one particular area of life, looking at it, talking about it, recognizing where there's been repetition, and recognizing where it is that that very repetition is a reflection of patterns that we saw growing up, patterns that were embedded in us, and patterns that we've repeated even when they've hurt us out of some unconscious, and yes, unrational, but the unconscious is not a rational space, but out of some unconscious desire to belong to our families and to our ancestors. And it was very powerful to do a meditation where I could acknowledge families and acknowledge the ancestors, but also choose a pathway of my conscious choice to move forward on. And that meditation had me in tears at the end. That was the thing. But I thought that this was such a powerful example, an unexpected and surprising example of this T-square that is set up right now. Mars in Leo is of loyalty. and where our loyalties lie, where our hearts lie, where it is that we are dedicated. Leo is a fixed sign, where it is that we feel we will find something consistent. Aquarius is a fixed sign, and you add Uranus into the mix. In the sign of Taurus, also a fixed sign as well. Now, all of us in at least one area of life might be repeating patterns, even when we know they're not good for us. I had a chance to speak with somebody, and I was saying to him, you've got to do this therapy. You've got to contact this person. This therapy is so amazing. Because this person that I know, well, in their families, they have a history of losing their home. Again and again, his parents, to this day, for one reason or another, will end up losing their home. They end up having their home confiscated in some way. And this person recently bought a home. And I said to this person, you've got to go through this therapy, because it is a very good idea for you to look at this pattern so that you can consciously choose not to lose your home instead of unconsciously repeating a pattern out of an unconscious, irrational desire to be loyal to your family and to your family line. And this was a very powerful conversation I had, but it was one way I was able to share something that I had learned through this therapy. And so now I share it with you. And I share it in the context of this very powerful T-square that is going to be going on, because I do think that a lot of us out there are going to be invited to do just this. Mars is your instinct, your survival instinct, but it's also an energy that is associated with a sense of dedication, a sense of loyalty. It is Aries that is connected to the planet Mars. Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac of the first breath. And this is your first experiences. It represents that first part of life. It is the energy of early life. And Mars is also the ancient ruling planet of Scorpio. That is a fixed sign as well. Holding strong, being loyal, being dedicated. Scorpio as an energy can be deeply entrenched, deeply dedicated, deeply loyal. And so where is it that our loyalties lie? That is going to change now. Or at least we will be invited to have insights into how to elevate and evolve that energy so that our loyalties are healthy. Our loyalties serve us, and our loyalties align with principles of greater love and greater wisdom if we choose and if we let it. Now, here's another thing to take into consideration, because I recently spoke about reenactment. I spoke about it in the context of the retrogrades that were happening, Jupiter retrograde season, Mercury retrograde season. And now what we're going to have is, on Thursday, we are going to have Mercury activating the eclipse point of June 10. Think back to June 10, we had a very powerful solar eclipse taking place. Now that solar eclipse in the sign of Gemini was conjunct a retrograde Mercury, hand in hand with a retrograde Mercury, tightly, close in the sky. And what this suggested is new ideas coming back around in some way, new thought processes that get another look, that maybe have been in the ether of our lives, but now we get a chance to integrate those energies. And where is it that we can think differently, but also recognize how we've been thinking again and again and again? So that was part of the energy of the time. And of course, this eclipse took place in a part of the sky for you, depending on your sun sign or your rising sign. And there are videos for that, the month ahead videos that I did for June, spoke about this for your sign. So you may want to have a look at that on my YouTube channel as well, to understand how this energy spoke uniquely to you. But having said that, what's very powerful now is that Mercury is direct, and Mercury is going to move over that eclipse point July 1st or 2nd, depending on where you are on the planet. And this is going to reawaken some of the understandings of the eclipse, but it's also going to give us a fresh perspective, a brand new beginning. And and it's going to allow forward momentum to take place. So if it felt as if there was a new beginning, but then it kind of fizzled out, there was a new understanding, but you didn't really integrate it more fully, now is when things move forward. Now, I want to remind you of something given what is happening in the sky. July 1st is Canada Day. July 4th and July 4th weekend, Independence Day in the USA. And for a lot of us out there, this is going to be the first time that we are going to see family and extended family, possibly since the beginning of the pandemic, way back at the beginning of the spring of 2020. So for a lot of us out there, this is going to be the first time when there really are gatherings and there really are interactions with our larger families. Some of us are very fortunate where we have families where we feel safe and supported and spoken to in a way that feels affirming. However, there are some families out there and some family members out there where you might not feel that. And so I just want to say we have some very intense energies late in the week. As I said, right around Thursday is when the eclipse point is being activated, but it really is over the course of Thursday to Saturday when we have Mars intimately involved in the Saturn-Uranus square, setting up that T-square. And I just feel like this can be sensitivities that are very high at this time. This can be a sense of our own awareness of our individuality being challenged in some way. But the great thing with this energy is that it can be part of making you aware of family constellations. It can be part of making you aware of what dynamics have been playing out, what patterns have been playing out. You could sit there at these family events and family gatherings and see certain connections and alliances taking place and have a moment that feels uncomfortable. Maybe it is somebody who provokes that moment by the way that they speak to you. But it is also possible that you in and of yourself might have one of these moments where it makes you take a little bit of a step back. And it makes you go, oh, okay, I've been repeating that pattern. Now you see it. You can see what patterns are playing out in your family, and you can recognize where it is that certain patterns have not or are no longer of service to you. And that's where the power is, because when you recognize that, then you are empowered to choose consciously. And you can make your life consciously. You can choose your life consciously. You can go your own way. And you can belong to your families. You can belong to your community. You can belong to the larger community and not repeat those patterns. There are ways in which to do that, and it comes down to conscious intention. And that is part of the power of this time. So it's up to you to decide. If you know certain family members really, it is not healthy for you or good for you to be around, then you can plan strategies of self-care. However, if it is that you choose to engage with family, just know that the energies are very strong here. And the energies ultimately will lead you to heart, will lead you to that Mars in the sign of Leo. And you add to it the layer, the activation of the eclipse point. What happens now is deeply karmic. And it is part of our unique journey towards greater love and greater wisdom. Our individual journeys towards greater love and greater wisdom are going to find us now through mind, through conversation, through connection, and yes, through community, and sometimes spontaneous community at that. But the awarenesses that we have now can be part of creating a momentum that propels us forward from here. Now, also this week, I do want to quickly mention at the beginning of the week, Venus is going to move into the sign of Leo. This is very exciting because love becomes over the top, becomes more fabulous, becomes more exciting. There's a desire for more of us to feel special to another person, that much more. But I always find when Venus moves into the sign of Leo, Leo is also the energy of celebrity. And so there may very well be some very strong, very notable, very memorable fashion statements that take place from celebrities. Think about those fashion statements that have happened, that have become very iconic moments. Well, we may just find them now, but just know as part of this Venus moving into the sign of Leo, right now, Mars is activating the Saturn-Uranus square, setting up a T-square. Venus is going to get there later in July and activate that T-square, or set up a T-square rather, as well, by activating the Uranus-Saturn square. So what that means is some of those fashion statements really will not go off well. Yes, they may go viral or reach a whole lot of people, but end up also being very controversial or very uncertain. So be on the lookout for that. That can be part of the fun of this time, but of course in our own individual journeys. I think that it's part of us, like all the signs are part of us, of course. We all have needs connected to all of the signs and all of the planets. We are complex and varied humans, each and every one of us. Venus in the sign of Leo is going to have more of us wanting to feel special to another person and wanting another person to demonstrate, to show us that they believe we are special as well. Of course, you want to pace yourself, right? And make sure the signals are very clear, make sure that they're there. At least Mercury is direct right now, but next week Mercury is going to square Neptune, so everything's not so clear just yet. And yet there is this potential here for us to connect with someone in a way that feels positively uplifting. And that is part of the gift of Venus moving through the sign of Leo. What I love about this week for us, well, look, there's so much here, such a powerful astrological time, and a time that invites us to connect and consider and love. A time that invites us to be uniquely ourselves, but know that we are part of something bigger, part of something larger, and to know that we belong, even if we do things differently. Even if we decide to walk our own journey and walk our own path, we can still belong. And I think that that is one of the most healing understandings that we can have as part of our own individual journeys. That you belong, that you can be loyal and also be healthy and also take care of yourself and honor an authentic expression within you, and especially being true to your heart. When you're true to your heart, there's love, there's wisdom, but there's also peace. And when we are repeating patterns that cause us pain, there's no peace in that. But when we are truly listening to that voice within, we're truly willing to sit with ourselves and sit with our heart, then we know that the work we do to heal ourselves is powerful. And when we heal ourselves, especially of those deeply entrenched ancestral patterns, we end up creating new pathways that bring that much more love to our descendants and to future generations. This is work that can be hard. And especially with this T-square, we may be facing some difficult truths about ourselves as to where it is that perhaps we did things where we could have done things better, but now we know. And we make the choice to do things differently and to be better in the future. And that ensures that the future itself is better than what we knew before. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys. And to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you so much to everybody who likes, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs up, who hits the notification bell to make sure that they get the notifications when I put something new up on my YouTube channel. To each and every one of you for being here, for watching. I am so truly very grateful for all of you. Thank you. And of course, if you want to know how all the stuff I talked about this week, all the wonderful stuff I talked about this week speaks to you and your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. At NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week for each and every sign, with choose your membership rate for as low as just $3 a month. That's right, $3 a month gets you access to the weekly expanded horoscopes for each and every sign every single week. Higher tiers get you unlimited access to special horoscopes. They get you access to class passes, even consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Synchronicity University, I have a huge announcement, a big announcement. I'm so very excited to tell you about this very, very big announcement. I just feel so incredibly grateful, so incredibly blessed. We have the incredible July speaker series coming up. Choose Your Tuition Rate is on for just a few more days until the end of June, which is this week, coming up very soon. However, here's the very, very big news, the biggest news of all. One of our speakers could not and will not be able to join us. And so the one, the only, the incredible YouTube astrology superstar, Stormy Grace, is coming back to Synchronicity University. And so this is the class on Saturn through the houses in your chart. And Stormy's going to be stepping in. She's going to be teaching about this very subject. And she is just a lifesaver. I got to tell you, I love her so much. I'm so, so grateful for her. She's so amazing. Literally, it was just hours ago when she agreed to do this. Everything just happened so quickly. You know, I have loved this group for July speaker series. I'm so proud of this group. I feel like this is the best of Synchronicity University and what it can be. And now Stormy Grace stepping in is just so perfect because Synchronicity University is about bringing the biggest, the brightest today and the future stars in astrology together. And that's exactly what we have with this July speaker series. Stormy Grace, of course, is a favorite for many of you out there. I know when she was teaching with Synchronicity University before, many of you commented how myself and her are your very favorites. I thank you for that so much. And so I love that she's back. And she's just this beautiful, beautiful soul. She's such a great teacher. She really understands how to break down whatever it is that she's teaching so that whether you're a newbie, brand spanking new, or you're an advanced student, you can understand, you can grasp, you can implement right away what it is that she's teaching. So to Stormy Grace, I thank her so much. I'm so very grateful for her. She really is a lifesaver. And I love her with all my heart, even more than I did before. But especially for you guys, for students of Synchronicity University, I'm just so excited and so grateful that I get to present to you such an incredible lineup. So this July, we are going to have Ursula Stockder, who is a superstar here in Mexico. She owns a famous astrology school here as well. And Ursula is going to do a two-part workshop on astrology and tarot. We're going to go through the major arcana over the course of 2 sessions. So this is a very, very low rate for what it is that she offers, because this 2-part workshop normally costs around $300 and you get it for $5 a class, which is incredible. She was even very surprised by this, but yes, that's how I do things. I am an Aquarius after all. That's how I'm going to do it and make it as accessible as possible. Of course, there's a limited number of scholarships available as well. So you can navigate to Synchronicity University to either sign up or to check out what scholarships, partial or full scholarships, are available to you. We are, of course, going to have Stormy Grace, who is superstar, and I'm so grateful for that. We are going to have Cameron Allen, a superstar in his own right where it comes to holistic health and astrology. He's going to be looking at the signs as medicine and going through the different signs and their connections to the bodies. He's such a healing presence, and I will tell you, after I interviewed him for my YouTube channel, and I will link to that interview below, I took some time to talk to him and ask him some questions about my own stuff, and his advice was so helpful, so wonderful. And so I'm really looking forward to celebrating him with you. And then we have Kyrie, the Hood Mystic, who's going to be joining us as well. And he's going to be teaching on chakra astrology. He's written a book about this as well, which is very well received. And I just think that he is some of the best of what Synchronicity University offers. He created a video for my channel recently on the Neptune retrograde season. And you can find that here, or I will link to it below as well. And you can see what a great teacher he is. I just think the Hood Mystic is brilliant. I love his sharing on social media, and I think that a whole lot more people need to know about him and what he does because he is such a healing and mystical presence in the astrology world. So I love that I get to celebrate him with you also. So the July speaker series, Choose Your Tuition Rate, is on for just a few more days. Choose Your Tuition Rate will end June 30th, which is right around the corner. And so I would invite you, check out the page. Now you get Stormy Grace, the one and only, the incredible Stormy Grace, joining us as well at synchronicityuniversity.com. Link is in the description below. YouTube for astrologers with the renowned Kepler College. This class is already half full. Space is very limited to just 30 students. We're already at the halfway mark. And this class doesn't start for another 3 weeks. So we know that this class is going to fill up. We are going to reach maximum capacity. And the reason that we limit this class to just 30 students is because the class does involve mentorship. It involves feedback and back and forth with me as part of you creating a business that is spiritually motivated that you can feel good about. You don't need to be an astrologer to join us. You can be somebody who has any type of spiritual business, whether you're starting out, you're already established, or you have something in mind. This course is going to help you with all aspects of your business. So we go through so much over the course of 5 weeks with this class. I taught this class last year. I'm really looking forward to teaching it this year as well. And I love that I get to share this different part of me with Kepler College and the students there. Because normally I don't like to focus so much on the material side of things because that was never my focus. That was never my motivation. I did this work for free or for very little money for the first 7 years that I was doing this. I've been a full-time astrologer now for 15 years, and I learned a lot along the way. There were reasons why I did it for free or very little money and lived below the poverty line versus the first 7 years of my business in Canada. Now, I didn't feel it as much because my parents helped me a lot. They really did. And so now that my business is thriving, now that it is strong financially, I am able to return that love to them. And that really, really does mean the absolute world to me. I cannot tell you how much that means to me. And you make that possible. And so I'm going to teach you all of these different aspects of having a business. So the first class, we go through some of the more personal stuff, help you to find your vision, help you to understand your chart, where your part of fortune is, where your Jupiter is, what that says about how you might want to approach your business, and how it is that you might want to understand and make prosperous your business. We're going to go through the very practical things of the different social media outlets, how to make YouTube videos, what you want to focus on, how you want to present. We're going to make videos and give loving feedback as well. And then we're going to have 2 classes where we look at making money and all the different ways in which, practically speaking, all the different ways in which you can go about to create a successful business for yourself. And by successful, I mean that you're able to provide for yourself and to those to whom you are responsible. You're able to build something that you can feel good about, that feels in alignment with your calling and with your purpose in this lifetime. That is what I feel so deeply. My work is the great love of my life, and I'm so grateful that you make that great love possible for me. And so if I can be some part of your journey towards tapping into that love for yourself so that you get to live great love through your work also, well, that would be the great privilege that you would give me, and one of the great privileges of my lifetime, among many that you make possible for me. And so this course is offered through Kepler College, renowned institution, like world-renowned institution. I just feel so grateful and humbled to be connected to them, to be teaching with them. And it is, one of those things that feels like, one of those high points in my work is like, wow, I get to teach you at Kepler College. That's incredible. And so, yes, you can learn more about this course. I will link to it in the description below. And if you feel called towards creating a spiritually motivated, spiritually inclined business, then I hope that you will give this course a try, or this course a look, or this course a consideration, and I look forward to meeting you in class. I am thrilled to announce that I will be presenting with the Canadian Astrology Conference at astrologyconference.ca. There are going to be incredible Canadian astrologers participating in this. And the great thing is, especially if you're American, you get a huge discount because of the exchange rate. You end up paying so little to hear incredible speakers. Now, the theme is integrating ancient and modern thought and astrology. And I will be presenting something brand new with the Canadian Astrology Conference that I've never presented before. You are going to see my nerd shine. The nerd in me is going to shine. I'm going to be teaching on Alan Leo, and we're going to be looking at his role as mediator between a world that was hostile to astrology and a world that now is very enthusiastic in writing about astrology and psychological astrology and all of that. He was very important and a very important icon where it comes to understanding why astrology is considered New Age. He is part of what allowed astrology to thrive when it found itself in a hostile environment. With the discovery of Neptune, he brought astrology in as a spiritual practice. He represented astrology to the Western world in a way that continues to thrive thanks to his impact. He is the author of Esoteric Astrology, a very influential text. So yes, you will see the nerd shine in me as I talk about Alan Leo and his role and all the incredible things that he did and how he is such an important part of integrating ancient and modern astrology. And there are so many amazing speakers who are going to be there as well. Michael Barwick, that you've seen on my channel, that you've heard of so much, he's going to be presenting as well, and so many more. So I hope that you'll check it out, astrologyconference.ca. Link is in the description below. Tarot Summer School is in full effect right now. Tarot Summer School is happening, and my class, Astrological Timing for Incredible Tarot Readings, it is up now. It came up like a week ago, and so you can have instant access to that and the downloads for that. I hope that you absolutely love it, but there are incredible teachers and incredible topics to fuel your tarot practice, and links are in the description below. Now, I will also add, I have my own tarot package as well called Tarot for Astrologers. It's about a 15-hour package that you can get. It's a bestseller at synchronicityuniversity.com. Thank you so much for that. And in that class and in that workshop, I actually go through first the history of modern tarot and where it is today in our world. And I look at key figures like Arthur Waite and Aleister Crowley as part of understanding how tarot has entered our modern lives and continues to thrive. And then we're going to go through each and every card. I tell you, each and every card of the tarot we are going to look at, and we place the Thoth and the Rider-Waite side by side, and we look at their astrological correlations. We look at their symbolism and what that means. I focus more on the Thoth. However, the Rider-Waite has become increasingly important. And again, we explore them together in a series of 5 classes. We go through every single card of the tarot. So I hope that you absolutely love that as well. And I will link to that in the description below, or visit synchronicityuniversity.com. Synchronicity University Summer School is in full effect right now. This coming weekend, there are not going to be classes because it is Canada Day weekend and Independence Day weekend. So a lot of students are going to be busy, like I said, and we got that T-square going on. So in 2 weeks' time, we are going to have Pet Astrology. I know so many students are really looking forward to this. You can sign up for that as an individual class for just $35. And with Pet Astrology, we are going to look at the astrology of your pet. We're also going to talk about rescues and what you can understand in your own chart about the pets in your life, and so much more in Pet Astrology. I look forward to meeting you in class. And finally, you can get my take on your unique birth chart by logging on to Cosmogram, checking out my partnership with Cosmogram, because with Cosmogram, you can go onto their website, enter in your birth data, and within hours, you'll be sent a PDF, and that PDF will have the description of the different planetary placements and my interpretation of them. So this really was a labor of love putting this together. There were like 700 and something possible combinations, and I wrote them all out, and we actually are able to identify what combinations you have in your chart, what placements you have in your chart, and give you information relevant to you. If you go onto the Cosmogram site, there's a sample chart there, so you know exactly what it is that you're going to get. Thank you so much to everybody out there for their love of this generated report that I put together. Now, these computer generated reports, the godfather of these generated reports is Alan Leo, and I'm going to talk about that in the class that I do for the Canadian Astrology Conference. So that's going to be really interesting as well. But to continue in that tradition that Alan Leo started is very exciting to me also. And so check out my partnership with Cosmogram. Link is in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much for your love and for your patience. I know this video is going up late, and I'm so deeply sorry about that, but I'm so grateful that you are here right now enjoying this video as well. And thank you for all the ways in which that you are part of my spiritual journey, and for having me as some part of your journey. For that, I am so, so very grateful. And thank you for watching. Just make sure you're taking the best of care of you with this T-square that is going to be happening. It doesn't have to be a huge event, but it can be an important one that reaches you on a level of heart and heals you deeply. And that is my wish for all of us now. Thank you again. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.